Lonely Attack on the Different World web novel Chapter 5. I wouldn't want to go to a town that needs so many clubs. Day 5, Cave. One day I met Gobson in the forest. In the forest full of nothing but mushrooms I met Gobson. I clubbed it to death. No, really, walking through the forest in search of food. Mushroom, 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 gob. Mushroom, 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 gob, gob. Mushroom, mushroom, gob. Mushroom, 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 gob. Mushroom, mushroom, gob, gob, gob. Mushroom, 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 gob, gob. Mushroom, 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 gob, 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 gob. Bam! Wandering around while appraising, the only edible thing I find is mushrooms, and also some herbs, then gob, gob, gob. Well, gobs are not edible. Rare rabbits are a treat, but I have no ranged weapon and no magic. Erasing my presence and activating stealth, I quietly approach and then swoop down on them. All hail erase presence and stealth. They are super usable, a lot more so than the stuff from the White Room. With all the skills I got from the god upon transference to another world being more useless than erase presence or stealth, wouldn't it have been fine even without going to the White Room? What was even the point of the god showing up? The next time we meet, I'm going to make him sit in Saiza. Mushroom, mushroom, a gob. Bam. Somehow I've gotten used to goblins before I even noticed. What do I do if I get affection towards them? Beating to death it is. They're dull. With erase presence and stealth, I'm almost completely unnoticeable to them. And with a swift attack, they cannot respond immediately. And they always raise a club overhead. In short, an ambush, with momentum from that, bludgeoned them to death, and a repetition of that. Stopping to have an exchange of blows with them is dangerous. Their strength and defense are high, but they have no speed and even less intelligence. Repetition of assaults, repetitions of mushrooms gathering, and at a time herbs, rarely rabbits, while making sure to avoid the wannabe delinquents. There aren't many goblins near the cave, but their level is around 10 to 15, and when it comes to level 15, unless I attack them with all my might, they won't go down in one hit. As for the forest, though there are many of them, there are only about level 10 weaklings. A bonus to mushrooms, though I won't eat them. At times, I hear cries of birds overhead. Roasted bird, come on. Having no ranged attacks, I look up hungrily, and as it turned out, fruits on the trees were also edible. Those contact lenses are a win. Not only do they improve my eyesight, with them I can see in the dark, in the distance, and even very small objects. Having good eyes is important. If those were sold in my original world, I would have used them as well. I wonder, can they fix my glare? I promptly climbed up the tree and picked fruit from the tree and put it in my mouth. Then, sweetness, slightly sour, but it was the first sweet thing in a long while. It's not like I was particularly fond of sweet stuff, but being able to taste it in a world where I couldn't get any of that, it feels strangely delicious. I pick all the fruits I can. Each of them is small, so the total volume isn't that big, not enough to fill the stomach. After that, mushrooms, gobs, mushrooms, 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 gobs, gobs, mushrooms, mushrooms, gobs. Just leave me alone already. Some children are crying already, it's just me though. Level doesn't raise, though I went on the goblins pretty hard. There's a massive quantity of clubs stored in the item bag. I wonder if I can sell them in a town or something, though I don't want to go to a town that might need such a large volume of clubs. This is bad. I can't concentrate anymore. In such a state, I'm bound to make a blunder eventually, and taking a hit to the head with the club would be the end of me. Lately, I've become accustomed to using movement, but being unable to concentrate, I will surely trip, fall down, and get hit with a club. I'll die. Well, let's go back. Taking a roundabout path as I go. Mushrooms, 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 gobs, mushrooms. Fine, I'll master mushroom cuisine, though I don't have anything aside from salt. Getting back home, I feel at peace. Is it the effect of hikikomori? Is it going to gradually become harder and harder for me to leave outside? I guess it would depend on the delivery service. Staying completely without books, I would be too bored. Most light novels have a staple that it's better to completely use up magic. It would also work as a magic practice. Focusing my magic power, I raise the temperature of the mushrooms. I've tried a lot of mushrooms now. Let's also try to use earth magic next and go for a hot stone roast. Making improvements to my dwelling, I use up my magic and go to sleep. Perhaps because I was going to sleep after running out of magic, but after coming to this world, I find it easy to fall asleep. In the bed, I think to myself about the reason that I was called to this world. I was summoned to the forest that has nothing but goblins and mushrooms. Was I called from another world to protect this one from mushrooms and gobs? Could it be that my life in another world would end at mushrooms and gobs? I think I'm going to see mushrooms and gobs even in my dreams. Let's sleep already. Isn't this forest a treasure trove of foodstuffs? Why are all the treasures limited to mushrooms? Is there something wrong with vegetation? Is it that kind of forest? Where do I have to go to find other food? Or rather, what kind of food could I even find in a forest? Trees have fruit on them, but what about the ground, underground? There might be potatoes, but I won't find any unless I keep digging all over the place. Maybe I should move my dwelling, but by now I'm growing attached to it. But staying here means mushrooms all the time. This is a difficult question. I already have enough mushrooms to live for a while without picking any more, and even if I go to pick something, the only thing I'll find would be more mushrooms. I'm diving headlong into becoming a hikikomori. Soon my nitification will begin as well. And I've always been a loner.